Some of you may be shocked to see me up here instead of Steve. We didn't share that with everybody. It was kind of even as of last night, we're like, are you sure you got it? Yes, I got it. I wanted to give Steve a break. He has been super busy this week. I've seen seasoned preachers crack under the stress of VBS. There's a lot going on, and I also had a message that I've been thinking of, and VBS brought it out, and so I wanted to share it with you this morning. First off, just an additional prayer list that I didn't get on there. Tara Johnson, that helps us with HCYG, she has an aunt that is undergoing surgery, and she wanted us to specifically pray for her. She's having a lobe removed in her lung. I don't have her name, but I'll get it. But I want to add her to our prayer list. She specifically asked for us to pray. I'd like to apologize to any visitors that are here that expected to see a polished speaker. You got me. Please come again, and you'll be more impressed. And members alike, too. I want to try to be a little bit like Barnabas today. Barnabas was a cheerleader, an encourager for Paul, and I think a source of great strength for him. Hebrews 10:24 says, "And let us consider how we may spur one another towards love and good deeds." And so I apologize. I'm going to call a lot of people out, names out today. I hope I don't embarrass you. That is not my intent. I'm sorry if I leave you off of the list, because I see you. There's so many people that do so many things behind the scenes that you don't think about until it's not getting done. But with this VBS that we just had, I saw an acrostic that I wanted. It's the word encourage. And so the first letter, E-N, C-O-U-R-A-G-E, and then it has a verse that goes with it. I stole it, but I liked it, and I wanted to share it with you before I began. Starts with E. E is in 1 Corinthians 8:1 was the verse they used. Love edifies. N is nourish. 1 Timothy 4:6, constantly nourished on the words of faith. C is care. Have the same care for one another. O, one another, build up one another. That's found in 1 Thessalonians 5:11. U is urge. 1 Thessalonians 5:14, urge to encourage the faint-hearted. R is refreshed. They have refreshed my spirit, 1 Corinthians 16:18. A is accomplish. Prayers accomplish much, James 5:16. G is give. More blessed to give than to receive, Acts 20:35. And exhort is the last E, spiritual gift to come alongside, Romans 12:8. Hebrews 3:13 says, but encourage one another day after day. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about VBS. You see the pictures scrolling around. It was a great week. It was great to see all the kids. Our kids were outstanding, learning about the parables of Jesus and singing songs at the top of their lungs, and inviting friends. It was just a great week. But one of the greatest parts of not just the week, it's a busy week, but was the lead up to it, and just all the work that goes into it. But you get to spend time with your brothers and sisters and get to know them better. And I wanted to talk about a few, and I'll start with Steve and Lacey. That's the reason I'm here. If the if the Energizer Bunny and a hummingbird had an offspring, that's kind of what Steve and Lacey were like this week. They just were flying around everywhere, doing everything. Thank you guys. I don't there. I finally found them. They just did so much. Lacey, one of her big jobs was running around keeping up with things that I misplaced. She's a great finder. But Steve has such a good mind and vision. Sometimes it was hard to get what he wanted. He's very specific. When he gets something in his mind, he wants it that way. And I was like, oh, it's good enough. Well, it wasn't good enough. We had to get it just right. But they did awesome. I really think when you have teacher tryouts, they maybe ought to go through VBS, because that would probably weed some people out, because it's a tough week. And so please suffer today with me as I give him a break. I knew he still had adult class, but I wanted to do the lesson and encourage so many others. VBS, it's one of our two big outreaches, and we have many, but it's our big ones where the community comes into our building. We have trunk or treat and VBS where the community comes, and so we put a lot into it. But just starting at like door knocking, and I know that's not where it began, but that was kind of where my thoughts started as I started writing down. I had Michael McCann helping me knock doors, and it restored my spirit to see how excited he was to go knock on people's doors that we had no idea. And then he finally got to go to his grandma's house and knock on her door, and he was very excited about that. But door knocking is not for everybody. It's not for this guy. I don't like knocking on some random person's door that I don't really know what's going to happen, and he put me to shame. He checked my attitude, because he wasn't worried about it at all. He wasn't worried about it if they were upset. And so he helped renew my spirit in that. Riley and Skylar, a huge thank you to those guys. I don't know how many times this week we called them and said, hey, can you come to the church here at 10 in the morning or 1 in the afternoon to help us do this? Neil McKinley was awful impressed with Riley. He needed something up in his pickup truck that he couldn't reach. And Riley probably could have reached it from behind with his long arms. But he just stepped up in that pickup truck with one step and was up in there so quick. He can reach things in the high ceiling, and Skylar too. Both of them just were willing to do anything, and a big thank you to them. That first night, the registration table, bless you ladies, because that gave me early flashbacks to enrollment day for school. We're about to go through that, and it was controlled chaos. It was good. You guys did a fantastic job, a huge, important job. Bell ringer, that's an overlooked deal, but it's very important, and I thank Rick for doing that. The cookies were all outstanding. I may have eaten too many. I think we kind of got short on cookies by the end of the week, so I kind of cut down my allotment. The ice cream was great. The crafts, the teachers, they put so much work and thought into how they wanted to teach Jesus' parables. The tour guides, having our youth being involved in that, and all of you people that have been tour guides. And really, I'd say I need to start back at so much of our materials from VBSs from 10 years ago and 20 years ago. Thank you to the people that may not even be with us anymore for all the work that because we've got so many resources. We didn't even find all of the resources for this play. And so here, my last point on VBS, I'll get to in a minute, but we're wanting to kind of do some organizing and some planning immediately for next year so that we can kind of have an idea. There's some of you that knows where everything is, probably not now because we've rummaged. But there's so many resources that we have and so many creative people, and all the material was there. It's just a matter of finding it, putting it to work. So thank you for all of the members of the past that have done something with those VBSs, because it allowed us to have a good VBS this year. The plays, thank you to Kathy Harold, thank you to Neil, thank you to all the set builders, our cast. I need to apologize to Jerry Harold. I've teased her all week, but she knew I was short on cast members, and she's like, I'll be anything. I was like, will you be a plant that gets choked? Yes, she would do anything. And then I didn't get her cast, and I should have, and I apologize, Jerry. Next year, okay? Bus drivers, tear down, build up crew, and then our follow-up phase. It's great to have VBS, but we want to follow up and just let families know in our community that we'd love to have them, and we'd love to share Jesus with them, and we loved having their kids, and so we want to have a follow-up, but we're wanting to have a meeting and put together maybe a committee, just to try to help us set a date almost immediately to think about what our theme is going to be for next year so that we're not scrambling. And I'll apologize, that's 100% on me here when we've been without a minister. But thank you for carrying through last year. I'll never forget the meeting. Dan said, well, why don't you have a meeting and see if there's any interest? And like the whole church came forward and wanted to have a meeting. I was like, well, even though we don't have a minister, they still want to do it, and there's huge interest. So we did it, and it was rough. We had conflicts, and so our numbers were it was depressing because we still had a good product last year, and then the numbers were back up some this year, and we're hoping we can do some more planning to where it can be even more successful in the future. But thank you to everybody that had any hand whatsoever in VBS. Others that I want to encourage and give a hip hip hooray to Janie Rundles and James Rundles. Janie's awesome in the office. Anything you need, she's gonna try her best to get that done for you. And James also, I mean, what he does up there and everywhere around the church, just a huge thank you to them. A few weeks ago, I'm going to try not to get too teary. I'll probably get teary. But Janet talked about in adult class about how God gets us through the rough places. And I know I probably didn't say it as eloquent. He gets us through the hard places. And James and Janie have had a lot of hard places. And they're currently going through a hard place. They've been a huge source of strength for me, watching their faith remain through the hard places. I've seen others crumble with much less pressure and stress and walk away from their faith. So their faith remaining encourages me. The ladies of this church. Wow. I can't even scratch what all you guys do. I'm impressed and a little envious of your Facebook messaging that you guys do. You guys are in the loop. If I need to know what's going on, I go look at Melissa's Facebook message because I can find out what all's going on. The ladies do a great job of encouraging and keeping everybody up to date, asking for prayers, and if you're not part of that, get added to the group because it'll get you plugged in. Ladies class, what an awesome source of encouragement, great Bible studies and growth. The cards that they send out are always a huge uplift. That's something, if you haven't gotten a letter from me, look for one because I've been trying to write notes of encouragement and trying to tell people that I see them and recognize their work. But the ladies class is already doing that, and they're awesome at it. It'll be on the announcements here in a few minutes, but the Victoria donations, it's time for that again. Just so many awesome things they do. The cooking that we have in this church and have had in this church for years. It's so many people's love language. Fellowship meals are always fantastic. Then the meal deliveries that we do for those in need is an awesome work. There's people that need that, and it's great that we're filling that need. The people that prepare and then clean dishes afterwards, awesome work that you guys do. The people that help carry food in, open doors. It's just a good thing for fellowship. I'd like to thank our Bible class teachers, not just currently, but certainly currently, but through the years. Growing up in this church, if you grew up in this church, you saw some felt storyboards, and they brought a story to life. They were awesome. And I know that we have this technology today. They didn't compare to some of those felt storyboards and some of the little characters that people would hand make and work with in a sandbox. I can remember the story of Moses in the wilderness and with the children of Israel, and there was a sandbox. I want to say it was Janelle Eggleston, but it could have been somebody else. But somebody made a pump to where when Moses struck the rock, instead of speaking to the rock, water came up. And for a little kid, it was awesome. I was like, wow, that is amazing. It was just like Moses is right here doing it for me. Just awesome special effects and preparation that people have put it into. I can think of, and I hate starting naming names because I'm leaving out some awesome ones, but Carice Myers, countless hours, Terry Roberts, Berdine Rollins, Ruby Maynard, my mom in the baby class. She has prided herself in that baby class for years, probably generations that she's taught that baby class. Kay Hale, Marva Harold, Teresa Grounds, Lorraine Baird, just the list goes on of fantastic Bible teachers that we've had and currently have. And thank you for that. Thank you for giving your time to teach our kids about Jesus. Just the care that you guys show. When I go over to Mom's house for an extended amount of time, I can almost guarantee that she'll get a call from Fran, she'll get a call from Ruby, she'll get a call from Jeannie, and they're all checking on each other, and they're all worried about each other, and they love each other, and they just want to make sure that everybody's doing okay. Women walking with God. A lot of you ladies give of your time to go be enriched and go to that awesome event every year. Men, I don't want to leave you out, and I don't know that we're keeping up with the ladies, but we do a lot of awesome things too, and you do a lot of awesome things. Men's breakfast is an event to look forward to. It's an awesome source of fellowship. It's an outreach. We commonly have people that don't come to church come and eat breakfast with us and hear our Bible study. It's a little bit of a crash course in bachelor survival. Some of our gravy has turned into wall plaster, and you don't mention that. There's a rule that I didn't realize that you don't mention that, because if you criticize at all, you're on gravy duty next week. So it's good. It's awful good. Dan, just his steady leadership through the years. He's been an elder through several different sets of elders, and he's a great source of strength for me. Thank you to our deacons and the work that you do. Thank you for the men that are mechanics that are willing to help. I can think specifically of Neil McKinley and Doug Toombs that are always willing to work on vehicles. Thank you for our sound guys, our AV guys, James. Thank you for our handymen. I can think of the three Steves. They're handy. They can fix about anything, and they're willing to. Thank you for Jerry. Thank you to Tony Bryan, to Chuck Rollins. When our fellowship building froze up over the winter, we had that real bad cold streak, and I don't know if the faucet was dripping, but it was frozen solid. And Chuck came up here on a Saturday to help me run snakes through it, and we could not get it. We took it all apart and we ran snakes through it, and then we had a plumber come and they ran their long snake and they couldn't get it out. They were afraid maybe it was collapsed. And finally we had to wait on God to just warm things up a little bit, and it thawed out and everything was good. And then after that, you wouldn't believe we had 4 plungers going at a time in the sink. We brought up the grossest smelling filth. It was awful. And Skylar had a party over there, and he cleaned all that filth up before I could get back over there so that he could have his party, and it looked great. So thank you for that. I want to thank Mike Peacock. He's been doing this for a while, and he added me to this. He sends out little scripture nuggets every day. Hasn't missed a day since I've been added to it, and it's an awesome way to start your day. You know you're going to get a scripture in the morning and start your day off right. In fact, I'm going to be worried about you, Mike, if you ever miss a day, because I look for it. Missions. We've had some awesome mission work. We've supported awesome mission work, but we've had 4 people. We've had people, the ones I wrote down, and forgive me if I've forgotten you, but I know Greg and Steve have gone to Ghana. I know Megan's gone. Brady went to Honduras. Tanner was scheduled to go on a mission trip, and then COVID hit. He wasn't able to. But we have people that have a heart for missions, and I'm thankful for them. The prayer warriors that we have in this church, especially the men that get up here and lead. I wrote down Jimmy Redwine and Kirk Collier, but there's so many. Thank you for your heartfelt prayers. Thank you for your care for one another, to carry needs before the throne of God, and the way you voice your prayers. Thank you to the men for all the fill-in preachers. It was a hard stretch that we went through as a congregation when we're in our minister search. And I've never been as proud of our men as I was to see people step outside their comfort zone and give a lesson. It's not easy to get up here and do that. And thank you. Specifically, Joe Redwine. I think you signed up more than anybody, and I've seen tremendous growth in you, and you encouraged me. And I also want to thank Steve Moore, because I don't know that you'd ever done it, ever, and that couldn't have been easy the first time, and you did a great job the times that you did it, and thank you. Our youth. We have HCCYG youth group on Wednesday nights, and we feed them. And I use an ant analogy, but youth are really good. They're not set in their ways like we are as adults. They're not afraid to tell their friends about Jesus, and they're not afraid to say, hey, come to this. It's good. We say prayers. We sing songs. We get a lesson from the Bible. They're not afraid to ask their friends to come. But they also do find good food, and they're like, and there's good food. And answer that way too. If they find something, they're going to tell their friends. But they encourage me. They're willing, and we do this. We go sing at nursing homes with our youth. We do activities with them, and then a good number of them came and helped with VBS, and they were excited about it. Again, if you were not listed, it's not because you're not appreciated. This is kind of like writing things down on the back of a napkin. I didn't have the biggest amount of time to prepare for this, but it's been on my heart, and VBS brought it out. We taught parables, and I kind of want to end up with this. We taught parables in our VBS, and one of them, we did the play, The Sower of the Soils. We did it on 2 nights. And as you prepare for it, you reflect on what's the message? What are we trying to get across? What do we want the kids to learn from this? And so we've sown a lot of seeds this week. We've sown a lot of seeds this month. We've sown a lot of seeds this year. And I ask for prayers and follow-up, and that we'll see the increase, and that God will give the increase from these seeds that we've planted. But good job, church. Kudos to you for the time and effort that you've put into it. And I wanted to make an announcement. There's 3 souls in the past week that have sprouted, and I want to celebrate them. Peyton Rundles and Ember Stevens went to Black Mesa Bible Camp this week, and they chose to give their life to Jesus, and they were baptized, and that's awesome news. And then Jen Slater, after service last week, she was baptized, and we're so grateful that these souls have turned their life to God, and we're happy, and it's always good to see the plants spring up and take root. And I encourage every one of us to help that growth, and to not let them be choked out by the weeds, or to not have strong roots, to stay strong. All three of them had their seeds planted by this church. They've been involved with this church, and praise God for their decisions. The work's not finished. Continue doing what you do. Sometimes it feels like the harvest is not coming in like we'd like to, but our job is to plant and to encourage and to continue on, and we'll give God the chance for the increase. Kind of an untraditional message this morning, but I did want to let everybody know that your work has encouraged me, and I wanted to encourage you and spur you on to more good works. If we can be of any assistance to you this morning, please come forward as we stand and sing.